Hello and welcome back to the Jmaes Talk Show, episode 3, and we're here with Sam Shaw.
Hey.
How's it going?
Yeah, I'm good, man.
Where do songs come from?
Wow, what a question. I like to think they come from some sort of ether or another world that we don't know what it is, but, you know, end of the day, no one knows. But it's a lovely thing that we don't know. I think if we knew, it would be boring. If you knew how to write the perfect song, it wouldn't be interesting. It's like kind of a thing you have to chase almost.
So you're channeling very well-known songs, kind of things that are,
to be honest,
regarded pillars of our
pop
culture.
Pop culture?
Pop culture, not pop culture. Or both, I guess.
Both, yeah. Yeah, it's like I will definitely try and sort of make sure I'm hearing things that I love, as everyone does, but like I will be careful about what I'm listening to. It's hard to explain, like I won't. Because I know if I'm hearing, for example, I'll go through phases. At the minute, I'm obsessed with the Doors, right? I didn't know I would be, but tomorrow I might be obsessed with Nick Drake. It's completely different. You sort of follow these paths, I think, of like, I don't know, again, it's not really something to know about. It's just you sort of follow it. I think you have to follow your nose almost. You follow your intuition. But yeah, you definitely, if you're listening to a certain thing for a while, you can pick up a vibe and you can sort of go, right, maybe that's something I could try, or something that I haven't done before could happen now, or something. You know.
Songs come from waves of inspiration from other people who are already doing it. From your own experience. I was talking to someone earlier about that. Like, is it like a diary? You know, your music is very happenstance of your current situation, or is it more you've heard a song that, like, say, The Doors, and you're like, I'd love to make a song like that, you know? I think it's more of a balance of that, would you say?
Yes, half and half. I think there's half of, like, this mysteriousness, and there's a half of, like, this has happened before, but I could try and make my own spin on something, or maybe I could add something to it that didn't exist, or something. Yeah. But yeah, it's cool. I love it. I love the mysteriousness of it all. It's great.
It just sort of comes out of nowhere.
Exciting. Yeah.
But do you ever get that annoying thing where you've got into it, you're just playing on the guitar, and you're like, oh, that sounds great, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, that's madness.
Yeah.
That's already written
so many times. Man.
It's
I'll wake up and be like, oh my god, I got a song in my head, I gotta write this down.
Yeah.
Oh wait, okay, it's that one. But it's fine. Sometimes that doesn't happen, and you're like, wait, it is my song. Oh my god.
Why do people get bored of music? / why is some music regarded above others?
Interesting. Do you mean like certain artists, or like music in general? As in people just turn off from music in general? Or do you mean like as in, so let's say that you hear, say for example for me, right, I used to fucking love Arctic Monkeys, man. I used to be obsessed. And don't get me wrong, I like them still. But I don't go every day and listen to them anymore. I got a bit bored of them, man.
Yeah,
to be honest. I kind of felt like there was a point where I was like, I think it was the most recent album. I loved Tranquility Base. I thought, wow, because they explored every album a different thing. The new one, they kind of took the same thing and took a different slant. But I was like, that's the first time they did it. I felt bored. I thought, I've heard this.
They've sort of recycled.
Yeah, and it was the first time they'd done that, and I thought, you know, you're being a little lazy, to be honest. I thought,
I don't know if
it wasn't lazy, but it was like, maybe not lazy, but like, because they'd taken so many risks before that. Every album was brand new sound. So anyway, I think that's an example of that. I'd still see them live. I would love to listen to them still, but I wouldn't feel the same. It's not the same excitement. I've grown a little bit bored of them, so.
Yeah.
It happens over time. Again, you go through phases. I think you relate to stuff more or less. So when I was younger and stuff, I related more. As I'm older, I'm relating more to different music that I didn't before. It's all...
So what those bands are singing about, it feels more retrospective of your own situation.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. But I don't know about other people. That's how it works for me. That's something I find is... I actually catch myself. I'm like, God, I haven't heard that guy for ages. I used to love that guy. What's happened? I'll listen again. I'll be like, oh, it's pretty good stuff. But yeah, it's interesting, man.
Do you think people get stuck in a... I would argue it's sort of a gapping between art, because if you're in a stage of writing an album or an EP, and you get all these songs together, and then you have songs that you've also written at the same time, but you feel these aren't going to fit with this. They're going to be on the side. Yeah. But then that derails. I mean, that you could argue bring out more B-side records, like stuff like what was it, Kid A.
Yeah.
And then they had Amnesiac.
Yeah.
So they promoted it like it was something of the same. So that's what you come to expect. But when when you're in an album cycle and then you come back for your next album, if you're doing them back to back, you're like, you're treading the set. You haven't given enough time for the musical ground to recompost, you know, and get on to something else. I think
I try and be really conscious of that and not force myself to constantly make stuff, because I think that's when I try and make stuff when I feel so strongly about it.
Yeah,
it's like, God, I know there's a song in me, and it's not always like sometimes I will say, like, sometimes out of the blue, like a song I wrote recently called Mr. Robot.
Yeah.
I was going through a period where I felt like I wanted to write a new song, but it was almost stopping me doing that. It felt like I was doing a song. It wasn't real. I don't know how to put it. One day I woke up, boom, in my head was the melody.
It was full.
The lyrics. It was like I was hearing a radio turning on.
It was good.
Happens every now and again. That's the best kind of song, I think.
Yeah.
And then you just tune in, and it's great, and I loved it, and I was like, where did that come from then? Really interesting.
You can't pinpoint it.
Interesting stuff. And then sometimes you can hack away at a song, and that'll be great too, but it's two things there. And like, you do have to leave that time, like you say, to compost.
I think it's straining on people that are stuck in contracts, I imagine, like having to do that. Like they say, this is what we want you to do to this point. When you're back,
you got the deadlines coming.
We've got to write something else for us because you're on our time, mate.
But there's something good about that. I mean, the Beatles, I think a lot of what they did was from the deadlines that they constantly had. They had to.
They wouldn't be what they had
in 8 days.
Mental.
The whole album. Most of it's 2 takes at most. And you hear it and you don't think that.
People deify or make artists into sort of a god-like figure, and because of that audience participation of seeing artists, it makes people starting out on a back foot. Do you feel? Because when people go to see you, they're like, okay, let's have a look. You know, they get a bit. You know, have you ever experienced people like that, like as an audience, like?
Okay. So you mean as in, like, would that be me in the audience at?
No, like you performing and having audiences react in a way that they're expecting so much because they.
Oh yes.
Like very famous. This is more like comparative to.
I know what you're saying. Yeah.
I think going to see an arena
and
then coming to like a very local gig. I mean, if you're in the scene, you understand what you're gonna go for. But
as in, there's like a perception before you've even played of who you are.
Yeah, people have so much expectation for people who are just making art.
I do see that. I've had moments like that. I feel like when I've done slightly bigger gigs, there's been more of a crowd afterwards where it's like, oh, that was so cool. I don't know anyone who's saying that. And it's quite like, it's a little, not overwhelming, but it's like, wow, God, this is like it's caused an impact. Like, you don't realize it. You're on stage just having fun. Music is an energy. If you break it down, it's just a vibration, right? And that sounds really cliche.
Does it?
You walk off that, and then the next day you wake up and it's like, oh, normal world again. You know,
that's like what I mean. It's this chase as well with it. Yeah. Where if you're an established artist, you can give them the thing to keep feeding them. But when you're more independent, it's when and where these happenings are going to occur, which I think a lot of people live for. They love that it's a lot more, it's their band and they're not owned by the whole world. Like they get to keep this little secret. Like I always get people that are like, oh, I don't want them to get famous because then I'll lose them.
The little secret bit of me always wants to not be famous, to be honest. I don't want to do that. I don't want to have that lack of freedom.
Do you think a lot of indie bands that are a lot more successful, can you think of an example of someone who's living that dream?
The tambourine player for the Arctic Monkeys.
Because
you know what? I went to Glastonbury. I saw them do like Last Shadow Puppets. It was brilliant. You know.
Yeah.
And then there was a guy, literally every song was going. And I thought, and he was so happy. And I thought, you're just going on a world tour with these guys. Have a great time. Pay loads of money to just play the tambourine. And you can walk off and go.
You can go to Sainsbury's. Originality is incredibly hard to achieve. Good things these days are achieved by I can't read my handwriting. I think it's cultivating what people like and packaging it in a refreshing modern take. Would you say that's where we are with art?
It's like a fusion of the old and the new.
Yeah, nostalgia is a big selling point.
Yeah.
Like if you think of things on a very mainstream level, people, they're always like, we need to put the nostalgia.
I think there's so much to that. I've always been fascinated by that because it's almost like I'm obsessed with like tape machines, you know, tube amps. I only want to use that.
It sounds good, doesn't it?
It does.
It's got this sort of like,
you know, when you had that
warm feeling.
Like it's just the mindset that was back then. The reason it's nostalgia is because there was a lot of better quality things that people, you know. Example is like when digital came in. So it was like, wow, God, we've got all these unlimited amount of tracks now to use. You know, like Bohemian Rhapsody. The reason that was able to be made is because they just figured out how to make like 32 tracks instead of 18. And that was like addictive for people. Like, oh yeah, let's put more and more tracks. Let's put more cowbell,
more layers,
more tambourine, you know. And then it reached a saturation point. I think in like, I don't know when, 2010. I don't know when, but I noticed then like, you know, Mac DeMarco came in and was like, he's a huge inspiration to me because he was like tape machines. And he came in. And that was cool again.
It was early Kevin Parker was doing tape
Kevin
as
Parker,
well. Like them together.
Those two people really.
They hit the zeitgeist, didn't they?
Yeah.
They definitely took.
That's
had a grip on everything.
I mean, you even see it back in the day. Like the Beatles were still doing older tracks in a new way. You know, like blues stuff or whatever in a new way. Long Tall Sally.
Nothing will ever truly be original because our culture is based on remixing just what someone did before us.
Yeah, everyone's always done it.
If someone just showed up tomorrow and they dressed up like Madness, and they sounded like Madness,
people like, oh, all right, we've seen this. But then
like that band, Greta Van Fleet or whatever they're called. Like they sound like Zeppelin, but people love them.
They're pretty, I don't know.
Because they're making nice music that sounds like them, and they've got a fan base for it. So good with Mac DeMarco again though. Like he was, I don't know. He kind of created his own thing.
Well, yeah, but also what you could do with the internet, because I think what he did that people maybe don't remember is like he started out doing a lot of really, really funny YouTube videos. That everyone should see. They're hilarious, like really weird stuff. Where he'd like announce a tour, and it'd be like the Star Wars intro.
I think I remember that.
And then him just weird doing weird stuff.
During his rock and roll nightclub era, when he was like,
the earliest stuff.
He'd do his like sort of
weird
voices,
almost like comedy sketches.
Come
right?
down the Vegas.
Stuff like that. Yeah. He showed that you can do that, but also be authentic. I think. You know, you don't have to. Because before that, it was a bit maybe like, you've got to make an online personality. It's not really, you know.
Yeah,
that's a bit
because it's odd because he came out at this time.
But he was real while he did it.
It looks a lot like R. Stevie Moore. You know, R. Stevie
Moore.
I love
that guy. Yeah.
If you watch any R. Stevie Moore stuff he was doing in the '70s in his house, it just looks like Mac DeMarco stuff.
Man.
And
He's the original.
Music is in the background when you're young, but as you get old, it is more like fruit that saves you and saves your soul and helps you keep going. Yeah.
I think I agree that it's definitely been a solid thing in me. Anything I feel, if it's good, sad, anything, whatever. There's a song, Heroes by Bowie. I chose that to be at my dad's funeral, right? That was a huge moment for me because I was like, how do I get this? What song do I choose, man? And also, he was obsessed with that song. And it was like a really defining moment in the childhood. It was like, that was one of them. And anyway, that song now, I mean, you know, anytime it comes on, I'm like, you know, I love you, Dad. You know, it's like it's a thing. It's a meaningful.
I have the same with Logical Song. I think that set the precedent for my personality because it's a very like it is a logical song. It's very like cynical in its nature. And my dad was playing a lot of that stuff when I was a kid, and it feels like it kind of set me up for what I like a lot of that. So, their sound, like all their Rhodes and pianos that they had, and the bass lines, like.
I think
really
you're so right that
stuff.
You do start from a point, and if you're lucky enough, your parents have a good music taste, and they're showing you all this stuff, and I think we're probably lucky for that. Like, you know, you sound like you were. I had all the Bob Marley, everything from Bob Marley to the Cramps on the way to school, which is brilliant.
That's all you can ask for. You're just glad your parents aren't into S Club 7.
Oh, man, I think in terms of like Britain, I mean, I don't know what's going on. There was a great band, Black Midi.
Black Midi?
They were great. I thought they were doing something brand new.
Have they stopped for a while then, or is it?
It was sad, the guitarist, I mean, there's a video on YouTube, it's a mad story, like, he did a backflip. They always used to do crazy things, like, literally, I saw them at Contemporary Art Gallery, and they had water bottles on their fingers, and they were throwing them up, and then catching them at the same time, all three of them, and then downing them all like that, and then throwing them. It's like, all synchronized, and he's going to another song. I was like, that's amazing, like, that's really mad, you know, and it's just... That was their thing. But then he went too far and he was on Brit Awards, I think it was. He did a backflip, the guitarist, and hit his head on a piano.
Fucking hell. And
had brain damage from then on. He had to leave the band. And then the four that started the band became like a 6-piece thing with a saxophone and a piano. And it got too mathematical for me. And it was just all like, you know, you can hear it getting madder and madder.
You're a fan of the early stuff.
That album, the first one, man, they were best band in Britain at that point. I love them still, but... I just don't know what's the scene now. I think I've just been more into older music for some reason, I don't know. I'm in a phase of that. 60s stuff is my bag, like that's what I've always been into. But there's definitely bands out there, I probably just don't know them. I need to look around. But Nottingham-wise, brilliant bands out.
Any shout-outs?
Definitely Wizards Can't Be Lawyers, Sancho as well. Double Trouble, great bands.
Who's that?
Yeah, who's that? And then, you know, there's like Swallowtail are pretty cool. And Paste. There's one called, I love this band name called Kickflip 69. It's a brand new band that do like sort of skate punk. That's pretty cool. You never really see that nowadays. But I love that name, it's pretty cool. Kickflip 69.
It's very
it's pretty funny.
It's on brand with the skate stuff.
Yeah, exactly. All sorts of bands, yeah. I mean, Goodbye, great as well. I could go on, man.
Benjamin and Will.
Yeah, great guys. Great guys.
Like I was talking to Drury Hill, the band just now, like they're very new. I think I was trying to tap into this thing of like they're experimenting at the minute.
Yeah.
But you need that. You need time to absorb everything that's been, and then push out what you are reflecting from that, and then give time to grow this new thing.
Yeah.
And I think that ties into what you're saying, and then and that's where new stuff comes from.
100%, and that's why I'm always excited about music.
Yeah.
You know, because it's always going to be fresh, and you don't know what it's going to be. You know, it's a ever changing. Just like rotating wheel almost of new things, old, new, combining.
It's like a lottery.
Literally, yeah. You don't know. It might be a new single tomorrow that blows the world.
Isn't it funny when like someone's really shit though?
Yeah.
And they're like the biggest thing ever.
Oh man, it's
they're just like the worst.
There's always a top 10 hits guy that's just annoying and whatever. Yeah. But, I mean, it's all part of the.
That's not
the industry, you know.
Yeah,
It's like an industry.
Someone slipped through.
In any industry, there's the, you know, cheap little pork sausages that are in the supermarket for 39p. That sell those, you know, And then there's the more, you know, special, finest Cumberland sausages, and maybe they make a bit.
I love the sausage analogy.
I'm thinking of sausages. I'm hungry. But you know, like. It's got to be.
To the Jmaes
you got to have some filler as well. I mean, it's not a good thing really, but you know, you can't have. If every musician was amazing, that'd be brilliant. But
if you had your favorite dinner every night, it'd be the worst.
It might make it a bit boring. Right? Yeah. It's nice to have that feeling like, oh, I know this band. That's pretty cool. I don't think anyone else knows that band.
Why do you do it?
Why? I mean, that's an impossible question. I know why really. I mean, it's because I love doing it and I have fun with it. But it feels a bit like sometimes like a thing that I think I had. I don't know what it is. I've always felt a calling to do it. I've always felt like this is what I'm meant to do in life. This is what I should do. This is what I want to do. It's not really a question for me. It's just something I know in my heart. It's like I
think a lot of people are like that. It's like it's not even a question. Like I sometimes think about when you're a kid and you're drawing and older people are like, you're going to be an artist when you grow up. And it's like a little seed. And I think sometimes that it's like, you don't know what else to do, but then that thing that is planted in you stays with you. Sometimes artists just get plucked out of the air and they just say, this is me and this is what I'm going to do now. Like,
I think it was.
How do you think it happened for you? Like,
I was 12 and I got a guitar for my birthday, and it was like an electric one. Yeah, a little Stag. I think
it's 12. 12 is that age that you get an electric guitar.
It must be the first time you have.
You're in your 20s, right?
Yeah, 20s. Yeah, 27.
Like. School of Rock was out when we were kids.
Oh, you know what? Yeah, that was a brilliant film. I saw that in the cinema.
Watching that when we were kids, and then like a few years later, our parents thinking like we can afford to give them like a £100 guitar.
Yeah, a little one. See what happens.
Those events are huge.
For sure. That was a huge thing for me. Seeing School of Rock at the Showcase Cinema, man, with my uncle, it was like, wow, what was that? You know, I've never heard Led Zeppelin even anything, and it was like, that's what I want to do. That's cool. Yeah.
I think kids need that. They need.
That, like, it's not around as much. It's not really that. Like
to influence them into the arts like that is very rare.
Yeah.
Unless you do have arty sort of family, like.
Well, I was lucky. I think I was lucky because I was growing up around my Uncle Saul. Yeah. He was in a band called James, and he was always bringing us to tours and things. They're still going out.
DJs.
The 90s band, yeah. It was a really amazing.
I have a beef with them because I can't call myself James.
Oh yeah.
That's why I call.
Is that why? Sorry about that.
No.
I'll tell my uncle to change the name.
No, I actually want Jmaes. I've been rocking it for a while.
I'll get him to call himself Jamie or something. I don't know. But yeah, like that was cool because it was just. I mean, I was seeing all these gigs and things and picking up. But one time, I remember.
You say Saul.
Saul. He's got a cool name.
Uncle
I like
Paul
his name. Paul and Saul.
Played guitars in punk bands in the 80s.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool.
And he got me my first acoustic when I was 6. So I sort of did, but I didn't play it when I was 6 because I was too young, I think. when I was 12 and I got the electric, I was definitely like raring to go.
When you get the electric, it's so much more fun. I think that was something that I, like, because I'd only really played a bit of acoustic, and I actually started on violin, and I remember I was plucking the strings instead of going like that. And I was apparently like getting the notes right, and I'd never picked it up, and the teacher was like, "You just need to play guitar, man. Like, why are you using this?" She said, "Okay." Yeah. And I tried acoustic, and it was pretty fun. I got a bit bored of it, to be honest, because they were like, "Here's how to play Greensleeves. Here's how to play," you know. I wanted to learn cool songs, and then got the electric, and I remember picking it up, and I was trying to like turn it on with the volume knob, and I was like, "It's broken. It's not making any sound." Like, no, you got to plug it into the amp. Oh, what's an amp? What is an amp? Yeah, it came with one. But I was like, what is this thing? Plug it in. Oh my god! And I was just like pissing himself. Like, well, my dad was like, "There you go." And then I just turned it up, and I went, and I was like, "Yes, that's cool, man. That's way cooler than me." It would be funny if they were there, like, like, how long are we gonna wait? How long will it be? Just leave me to figure it out. I'll never figure that out. I got like into this stuff. Like I was 20, I think 21. Yeah. I'm very new to this still. Like the music scene. I love your music, by the way. Thank you. Yeah, brilliant. You sent me some of it. I thought it was great. I think so. We were going to play together, I think, at some point. Yeah, we were going to do that. It all dissolved. It was that venue closed down. I mean, it's gone. It was mad. Yeah, it was. God bless the chameleon. Wherever you are. That's how I know. That's why he's on the show today. Yes. Thanks, guys. Anything else you want to add? I mean, just thanks for having me. It's been a brilliant experience. I've never really done this, and just thank you, man. Great to meet you. We're here with Sam Short, and Sam's going to play us a song. I'll mention as well, we're headlining Rough Trade on the 7th of September, which is exciting. Is it that one? Yeah, so come down. It'll be a good time, man. Rough Trade. My new band, Sam Short and the Real Eyes. That's what we're called. The Real Eyes. Real Eyes, yeah. Like a pair of eyes. A pair of eyes, you know. What song are you going to play for us today, Sam? It's sort of a new one. Never released. It's just kind of pops into my head. I was like, oh man, I kind of forgot about that one. And it's called Burning Castles. Burning Castles. It's brand new. No one's really heard it. So yeah. It's fun.
Think of all the times we've had. No, I'll always be so glad. Climb so many mountains with you. Look at the view. Castles are burning, skies are red. The world is spinning round much too fast. The curtains close and we say goodbye. But that don't matter, what matters is that you're gone. Look how we've grown. Wish I had known. Climbed so many mountains with you. Look at the view. Castles are burning, skies are red. The world is spinning around much too fast. The curtains close and we say goodbye. But that don't matter, what matters is that you're gone. Thanks.